Buddy the dog, what you doing? Having fun at sunset? Sure. Well, I'm not ready yet to be done with my fence project today. So I think I'm gonna run out to the field and swipe one of those gates and take it down there so it's ready to go. Because like I said, I think I'm gonna change those gates at the road and make them 20-foot gates so that there's a 40-foot opening. If I do it right, all I gotta move is a few posts. I wanna finish building that section of fence too when I get the corn out of there. And then the cows can run in there to their heart's delight. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to use all the stuff that I got already before I go buy new stuff. Because gates ain't cheap, friends. I'm here to tell you, it's a sad story. And I noticed this leak. Huh. Well, we probably should address that too at some point. But anyway, we're gonna get started on the project right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. 770 we used in the last couple videos. And now we're gonna go get the loader tractor, as in the John Deere loader tractor, because the spike fork bucket works great for carrying stuff. And we really need to take also, whilst we're doing that, a panel along so we can take it down there. But maybe we won't do that in this trip, I don't know. I don't even remember when the last time we built fence was. I feel like it was last spring when we built the fence in the cattle pen. And so I still have some stuff left over from that. And I never finished that project either, but I got it to a stopping place where it wasn't a big deal yet. So I really wanted to get all that done before winter, but I don't know. If I feel like I do right now, I'm about wore out, and I don't feel like doing much. Ah, yes. Panels grown up in the weeds. Sure. Why don't you use the loader, you say? Well, if I do that, it will bend them. So you got to pull it out by hand. Oh boy. What fun, friends, what fun. Stay panel. Stay long enough that I can pick you up with the tractor. I'm not dragging that out to the field too, but I'll set it up there closer. And then we'll go get this gate, and then we'll take it out there and kind of assess our situation that we find ourselves in. Because it'll be tomorrow before we actually get back to building stuff. It's just that if I start a video now, I'm motivated to finish it, see? Oh, baby, start up. Let's pick this up. This is nothing new. We've done this for years. Carry panels on this loader. There. All right. We still need to fix our cylinder mount, but we'll totally break it off and then do it, you know. That makes sense. sure these are 16-foot gates to make a 32-foot opening. So if I get a 20-foot gate there and get one over here, I'll have to move this back, but that's okay. It's just 3 holes. And then what I'll have to do is extend the culvert, or at least make sure people know that there's no culvert the full width of the opening. And I don't remember if this, no, this gate's good. The pin snapped off of the post in there, so I would have to do something different anyway. And I'm just thinking wider is better, you know. This gate ain't great. It's been hit with a tillage tool. Yep. That's probably not very good. Let's center it more. Maybe. But I'm just thinking, what's the easiest way to do this without having to start all over? And a 20-foot gate, you know, that'll take a good chunk of this 4 foot from the center of where it was. Then we'll go that way, and you could still get your combine through here with being on the rocks. You'll just be more to this side of it. And someday when I feel like I got nothing to do, I can extend that out a little bit. They sell it by the foot, so that could happen. Move those 3 over. On the other end, there's only 1 post set holding the gate, so that wouldn't be a big deal to move it. And that one, you know, I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I want to move, well, I'll probably leave the one on this side and then move the one on the far side, because I think I missed where I wanted it to be anyway. When the culvert got in there, it wasn't quite where I wanted it, so I might be able to fix my mistake now. I think I can improve without much starting over. So it pays off to procrastinate, because I never got that section of fence done. And yeah, I might as well do it now so that when I graze this, I don't have to set up temporary fence from here all the way around, you know? Now, how much do you want to bet that there will be people and traffic? There wasn't any traffic on the way down here, but now that I got this gate that takes up the road, there'll be people. Don't worry. Road closed. Just set that gate down. Also, it will be interesting to see if this will fit down the driveway. It should, but we will find out. Will it? Yes, it should. The fence is farther back than the actual driveway, so we should be good. The only problem could be right here at the sobriety checkpoint, where the trees and the light poles collide. Throw that panel on there. Ah, Buddy the dog has got himself a snack. Sure. That ain't pretty, but it'll work, I think. Need to go above that spike. There. That's more better. Need to take those spikes out one day and press them back straight again. Stay. Stay. Whoa down. Whoa. Set that down. Shut the tractor off. Hopefully I didn't set it down too far. My goal is tomorrow to have them in here. Even if I don't have all the wires done, I can temporarily rig it just good enough that they can be in here while I'm home. And then if I leave, I'll run them out of here. But yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. I mean, trimming stuff. We'll deal with that tomorrow, but that should work. It'll be a little bit proud of the wood. I'll probably put it about there and hang it up high enough that stuff doesn't grow in it. That's always my, yeah, see, it can be a little bit, actually kind of works out that it's bent, but then we will put that on. I just do that so in case they destroy my wood, or sometimes, especially horses or donkeys, they'll take their foot and they'll want to try to break that bottom board off. So that way it gives them something else, that it's not just an open hole then. And then we'll run our high tensile wire, and we'll, on this short run, I'll probably just put the ratchets at one end. On the long runs like that, I put the ratchets in the middle and springs on both ends. And then you can really wrench it tight. But this is a short run, so I think one set of springs should be enough. And that'll fix that up. I'm kind of, well, I was gonna go this way with the gate and put the hinges here. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. And the reason is because if I do that, then when I open it, it'll be able to go flat against there if I ever open it. But when it's closed, it's against here. So if they push on it, they're just pushing against this post. And then that'll fix that up, see? Then I can get me another one of those springs, or you know what I mean, gate handles. Or actually for here, since this is a place that probably will never open very much at all, I will probably just do it rigid. And then people are less likely to mess with it when they know they're gonna get their lights zapped out. So I'll just go from this post somehow to over here and pull a piece of wire tight. It'll be hot, but that's gonna work great, friends. That's gonna fix up our corner. I think I'll go get more boards and put them on there just for aesthetics on the outside and finish that up. And then this corner will be a nice 90-degree corner, or 89 7/8 or whatever. Maybe it's not perfectly 90, but it looks like it. But that will finish out of what was happening here and never got done, you know. And then later on this winter, when it's freezing cold, I might start sawing trees through here, but I'm not gonna sweat. And then we can continue on from here however we decide to do that thing, whether it be panels here for a while, and then, because this is actually my little drive off when we had hogs in there, in case I'd ever want to go back through there and do something. I don't know, probably won't ever, life won't ever go back to that way again, I would say. It's gonna be a sad day when this tree goes. I really like this big tree, but there ain't much to it yet anymore. It's gonna it's gonna go down at some point, I'd say. The top is pretty well dead. So that's a shame, but I don't know. Ooh, anyway, kind of freaked myself out there for a minute. That started to fall towards me. But that's gonna be super nice, you know? And then, like I said, if there's an emergency or something and I need to get out, actually what I'm doing this for is, my thinking is, when this fence is here along the perimeter, I can drive my little sprayer tractor through there, and I'll cut me a path all the way through there like I've been doing everywhere else, and then I can get my spot sprayer tractor all the way around inside the woods and have a trail and be able to do what I need to do without going on the road, which would be nice, you know, because cars ain't watching for you anymore, you know. So pretty sweet. I'm happy with that. It makes you have a sense of accomplishment when you see something coming together like that. You know, I used to buy round posts when I started doing all this, and now I found that just going to the store and buying, like the lumber store, and buying these 4x6 squares is my favorite, because it's a lot easier to keep the wood nailed on to a square flat surface than it is a round one, and then to get everything lined up good. So it's all pressure treated about the same way. So I don't know, the fence style has changed over the years. I need to pick up this remnants of temporary that has been out here, and I may also run the hay mower around the perimeter of here to cut a swath so that it's mowed down. Or I've got a better idea of something I can use for that, and that might make a video in itself when I go get that. So yeah, slow but sure, we're making progress. And like I said, even if I just got to wire this temporarily around here while I'm working, and then they can be in here doing their thing, because I'd rather pasture them on this for a while and try to get some good out of it instead of trying to cut it and get like 1 or 2 bales. I don't know. But I think she's gonna go, friends. I think so. We got a pretty straight line, and it's just easier to move the fence over. I found in my travels here, pretty well every fence I built I've changed, you know, other than along the road. It's kind of got to be along the road, but everywhere else you move it out a little bit, and then you don't have to deal with the brush as much. You can maintain it, and then the animals will wipe out the brush for you over time. So yeah, I think tomorrow we'll be ready to start slinging wires, you know, Super 55 style. Got to hunt up the 550's got all the fencing tools in it, make sure I got enough of those little splices. And I know I've got springs and all that in the back seat of the pickup I bought to do some of this stuff. I try to keep some on hand all the time so that I'm ready whenever I finally get time to build fence, that I'm not running to town to get supplies. So I think that's where we're gonna pause for tonight, and then I'll bring you back tomorrow when I start in again. All right, next day. I looked through all my supplies, and sadly I don't have enough stuff to finish this. I'm gonna have to go to town and get some more insulators and things. But I think order 1 is hanging this gate. I got a piece of wood wedged under there to hold it up a little bit, because we want it off the ground. So anywho, we're gonna find us a, ouch, yep. We're gonna pick us a spot to put our pin. I think I'm gonna actually go higher than lower. The bottom one determines what you're after here, so let's go like right here. Fun, right? Oh, if you only knew the fun that's coming. I need to get my hammer. so I can drive it in there. And probably take that panel away there so I can move my wrench around. Get in there. Getting it started is the hardest part. The threads are not like really super good threads like what you would have on something else. Also, fatness don't help us. Makes it hard to maneuver. Come on. There's basically no point in you sitting here watching this because this is going to take a while. I'll bring you back after a while when I get, you know, progress made. All right, almost immediately after shutting the camera off, it started working good. I found that the big adjustable wrench is a handy tool for this job because you can put it in the hole of the handle and turn this in. Super cool. Probably, let's go one more. One more again. We want to leave enough room for adjustment. All right. So the bottom one hangs on there, and then the top one will have pointed down. That way they can't get their snouts under it and lift it up off the hinges and get an escape. Don't ask me how I know that they can do that. Come on. This is the kind of operation where having a child would be handy, you know, because you could order them to do stuff. Extra pair of hands, you see. Probably. Let's see, let me think about this. How do we want it? Well, first of all, we need to knock this down before we start, because that will, you like how there was a hammer there and I grabbed the adjustable hammer? Yeah, we want to be able to drive that up on the pin when we're done. And we might have to let that bottom one out a little bit more and then tighten the top one depending on how it sits so that the gate stays level. It doesn't really matter. This gate's never going to open, probably ever. So if you cared, or you know, whatever, then it would be important. But we're going to take this and put it in there somewhere so that we can drive that clamp up on it and make her go. So let's say about there, and try to keep it sure. Now we'll set this down. We'll start our process all over again like we just did when I shut you off last time, because smaller hole than this so that you actually have threads that grab, but then it's a trick to get it started sometimes, but that's okay. It all works in due time. I don't know what I salvaged these hinges from, but it's obvious that they have been used once before, because they have flat spots on it from where I've hit them with the hammer before. Oh, you're in the way. I don't even know if you can see, but that's the best we can do. All right, with any luck, this worked out the right way. And I need to go put my piece of lumber back in there. That's why I do that, because it helps you get the top one hooked. See, it holds it up off the ground so that you might get your, and actually that's a little yeah, I think I need to turn it in just a shade more to be able to do what I want to do. There went the mailman. He's actually a male, so that fits. Busy traffic day. There. Let's try to tighten this a little more. That might be a mistake, but we're going to do it anyway. All right. We should, let's pick up our tools first, and then we'll do an inaugural swing here. I wonder if the mailman is going to bring me my soybean check. That would be nice. All right, that's not bad. I might actually get one of those gate wheels to put on it, which is foolish since this gate will never open. But see there, now we got a full opening again, and that's what we're after. So yeah, we'll deal with that later. I was up not all night, but I was thinking about that in bed last night, about just going ahead and finishing this too. But I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that yet. I think I know in my brain, but yeah, it's too expensive to just use panels the whole way. Woven wire don't really do it for me, so I think I'll do a combination of a few panels first, and then some more of this high tensile fence. But that is snazzy right there. That's what we wanted. We'll keep the a block under there so it doesn't pull this over to the side, because you know, ain't nothing bracing that now from the weight this way. But that's the way that made the most sense to hang the gate, so that it opens where it's useful, you know. I could have done it, hinged it on here and swung it out this way, but then there wouldn't be a real good place. I don't know if I can make that make sense. This way they're pushing against that post, so they can't escape. If I had it hinged the other way and just had it up here and chain around it, they can, I've seen them unhook chains. I mean, I'd have to have it wrenched pretty tight, but in other words, this is more escape proof this way, and that's what we're after. We don't want to have to be chasing animals. We just don't. Let's see what else I have in my bag of tricks that didn't really come from the Dollar General. Fence post insulator. I don't remember buying those, but we'll use them. We'll use them to like we did there. We used actually the other kind, but we can use these now, and that'll get us ready for our electric. Yeah, just set you there. I think those things are supposed to come with nails. So let's do the right thing and dump everything out. There's a box of nails. They come with rubber washers to try to help protect the porcelain. Whereas when I do it, I just hammer it home with steel washers, you know. I don't even care. Okay, we got too much going on here for our small brains to handle. We're getting there, friends. We are getting there. It just takes a little bit. They just don't make them like they used to, you know? I can't imagine that hammering at home just doesn't work. Gave it one too many hits. You probably didn't even see that one because it was off camera. But I just wanted one more, you know? One more little... Put you that way. Now you'll see the failure. Don't worry. Whilst I was looking at that video, editing, I realized I got my wire right here. I can use to go across there. Recycling. Maybe. We're going to use the best piece if we can. Let's see. Of course, I didn't bring any fence pliers along, so I'm gonna just be going. Now, what we're gonna do, in there. That Cyclops, though, should I go to the middle one? It'd be nicer to pull from the outer, but the Cyclops giveth and the Cyclops taketh away. And it will burn through. Aw, I tried to take such care that I didn't put the crappy side up on these boards, and somehow I missed that. Well, that sucks. Because unfortunately there is a crappy side nowadays on all this lumber. It's just not very great. Alright, get this. Yeah. Well, see, that's going to just be temporary. Like, that's a gate wire, so it's not going to be the high tensile permanent. We'll put that on there, and I'll make it like I did to that, you know, where it's kind of on there, and then it's doing the thing. It's living the life, you see. But like I said, with the Cyclops now, I almost have to space it out, because when the wood's wet, it'll probably arc to the wood. It's that fence charger is nothing like I've ever seen. It's something else. All right, are you bored yet? I mean, this is riveting footage, friends. This is just spectacular. Just really interesting. But I'm gonna put that panel on there. And then I think this corner is done, and I'll be ready to go to the other end. And if I go, well, not if, when I go to town, depending on which town I go to, I may get boards to do the outside of that. So aesthetics, you see, looks. And then I might, I've been really thinking about it, and I'm thinking that, of course, it's going to rain in a couple days, so I may not get it done anyway. The ground is nice and solid, and I'm tempted to just go ahead and clean out that far corner down there and get it made up like I want, so I can pull against it, and then it can be sitting there getting solid in the ground all winter or whatever, whenever I get to it. And then we can work on cleaning this out this way, but we'll have that part ready to go, so we don't have to drive in it. If we get to it in the spring of the year, we won't be able to drive in there because it stays wet, and you will get a tractor stuck. I know, because I got that one stuck in there before, half in and half out, and that's a pain. So, of course, I was only like 5 years old, but nonetheless, that's something I don't want to repeat. So I think that's what I might do, just to set myself up for, you know, I could build fence all winter long as the ground's not frozen solid. I just need to, you know what I'm saying. I'd like to have this done so that there's, all the way along the road front, there's a fence, and then they can't go that way. They'll have to go some other way to escape. But I try to keep them where they have no desire to escape. But things happen, friends, and it just would be, it would be better if, yeah, I would feel better, and it would look nicer if there was fence everywhere. So then when we put them in here, I see I'm gonna have to go along. I'm out of insulators, I'm gonna have to buy more, but see, I'm out because I'm always fixing the same ones I already put up. Here's one that has broken both ears off. And what's happened is it's gotten brittle in the sun, and now it's just garbage, you know. There's nothing that holds it together. There's one that's bad. The sun makes them brittle, and they break off, because the deer walk through it. I've watched them. Sometimes they don't even slow down. They just go right through the center. They can, I don't know. It's amazing how they can maneuver themselves. But constant things that we have to deal with, friends. Constant things. Not just keeping animals in, but keeping wild animals out. All right, this corner's done. So the only thing left to do is string wires from here. But now we got to do the same thing that we just did here to the other end, and then it will be ready for the wire process. But that's going to be another video because I got to get supplies. So I think we'll leave this one here. There's plenty of footage, but we got us a gate hung. We got our our gate wire across there. And like I said, the only thing left to do on this end that I might do is get some boards to put on the outside to make that look pretty. I want to eventually string another wire across here too, because this should really be 5 in front of the road. I think that's what I did on the other side. And then I could fix some of this. Technically that top wire is too low. Respace them a little bit. That's something Grandpa did there that may or may not be what we really want. 4 was enough for him, but along the road, after seeing how the deer go through it, I think 5 is probably slightly better. On the inside, 4 is good enough. because that will keep cows in. But I don't know. This is probably a nonsense video, but this again is something that I'm doing every day, you know. Stuff that needs to be done, stuff that has not been getting done, and I'm just having to I'm taking advantage of the weather. The weather is good fence building weather, because it doesn't just, when it's 100 degrees outside with 85% humidity, you don't want to be pounding posts. It doesn't work. And this is nice. We're in the shade. It's probably about 80 degrees. It's beautiful and it's comfortable out here, and we can make some serious progress in a short order. So I'm gonna keep plugging away at this, even though I'm not making as much progress as I'd like to. I'd like to have been done already, but at least we're this far. So I'm gonna work on the other end, and we're gonna call this video here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.